If you do these 8 things, you will experience a shift in your reality. So, hey guys, I'm Laura, and I make videos that will awaken your awareness. So, the first one is to say no to what doesn't serve you. You don't want to be wasting time and energy on things that don't serve you. And when you say no to them, that means you're saying yes to the things that do serve you. Now, if you have a problem with saying no, like you might have problems with saying no to people, that's something that you need to work at, because I was one of those people pleasing types that didn't really set boundaries and didn't know how to say no. And it was something I had to realize the negative effects of being like that, right? And then I've had to learn to kind of shed that from my identity. So that may be something that you need to work on yourself. You may not be good at saying no to the things that don't serve you, or saying no to people. So if you have problems with that, just start practicing it and start learning to say no and sort of have a bit of an identity shift. Now, the second one is to forgive those that have hurt you. And this is because forgiveness is really powerful, and forgiveness is for you. It's not for the other person. So forgiveness doesn't mean that you have to put up with that person. You don't have to see them. You don't have to talk to them. You don't have to put up with their toxic behavior. Forgiveness is where you learn to be at peace with the situation, and you've learned to let go of the negative emotions that are attached, like anger and resentment. So when you're hanging on to anger and resentment because someone's done you wrong, think of it like you're hanging onto poison in your body, and it's only going to make you sick. It's not going to affect the person that's hurt you. But when you forgive, you let go, you release the poison from the body, and that, you won't create illness and disease because you've let it go. Because storing negative emotions like that do create illness and disease in the body. So you're doing yourself a favor to let it go. Now, forgiveness can be a process as well. It can be something that you have to work at to get to that place of forgiveness. But realize that the person you forgive, you don't even have to tell them that you forgive that person, because it's not about them. It's just, forgiveness is just for you. The third one is to set boundaries with people that drain your energy. So the key here is to become mindful of how you feel when you're around people. Like, let's say you're hanging out with someone at their house or whatever, and when you walk away and you leave, how do you actually feel? Do you feel, positive and inspired and high vibrational and just full of energy? Or are you leaving feeling drained? So start having that, developing the awareness on how you feel around people. And then when you start noticing that there's certain people you feel drained when you're in their presence, start setting boundaries with those people and start distancing yourself from those people as well. Now, the fourth one is you trust that the universe is working in your favor. I think, who was it? Albert Einstein said, I think it was Albert Einstein who said, you either believe the universe has your back or it doesn't, and that's the reality you're going to experience. So if you think that the universe is out to get you, then that's what you're going to experience in your reality. So learning to trust that the universe is working in your favor and the universe has your back, you're going to experience a completely different reality with that type of belief, because beliefs create reality. So start trusting the universe, trust that the universe has your back, and trust the process, and trust that where you are in life right now is where you are meant to be. Now, number 5 is to stop forcing things to work. When you try to force things to work, this is where you're trying to control. You're trying to control things, and controlling comes from the ego. So when you're in that energy of forcing things or controlling things, it makes the energy dynamic, well, kind of butchers the energy dynamics, right? So things start becoming rigid, and you can't force things to work because it just won't work. So the key is to learn to go with the flow of life. Like detach, let go of control, let go of the outcomes, detach, and just go with the flow of life. Number 6 is to stop seeking external validation. So I was one of those people who was seeking external validation and approval from other people, but I didn't actually have the awareness that's what I was doing. It wasn't until I developed the awareness that that's what I was doing, and I was like, oh no, and then had to do the work on myself. So the key is to become your own source of validation and approval. When you become your own source of that, you don't need it from anyone else. And that puts you in a really powerful position when you're not seeking it from others, because you are your own source. So learn to be your own source of validation and approval, and your reality will shift. And the way people treat you will shift as well. Number 7 is to operate from your heart instead of fear. So it's normally the ego mind that's fear-based, right? And there's a lot of fear-mongering in the world. And fear is a really low vibrational frequency to be tuned into. So we don't want to be wasting our time in fear, because that's what it is. We're wasting our time with it. And so the key is to operate from the heart, right? So you've got to learn how to connect to the heart. The heart has more intelligence than the brain. And it was developed in the womb first. And I think that I kind of feel like we live in a world where we don't talk enough about connecting to our heart. Like, we talk a lot about mindset stuff, right? All about mindset, but I haven't really seen a lot of people actually talking about connecting to the heart and operating from the heart. And because the heart's actually really powerful, and the heart puts off like an electromagnetic field that can be felt up to 3 feet outside of your body. So the key here is to start meditating and going within and putting the awareness in your heart. And that's how you start connecting to that heart space. And this is really powerful as well. When you start connecting to that heart space, this is where you can connect to God. You can connect to your higher self, your spirit guides. You can have like spiritual downloads. And what was the other thing? Oh yeah, this is how you also connect to the quantum field. And when you start getting into that heart space and connecting to the quantum field, that's when you can become a powerful manifester. So learn to operate from your heart. And number 8 is you realize that you are infinite love and light and totally abundant. So your natural state of being is love. When you're born here and you come in as a baby, you come in at the love frequency, which is 500. It's a really high frequency. And you're like, being an abundant being is your birthright. So you need to start realizing this. Love is your natural state of being. You are actually a high vibrational light being, and you are actually abundant. And when you start realizing and embodying that energy, that is when your reality starts shifting. When you're in that abundant type energy, that is when things will start flowing into your life and you won't have to force anything, because it's all about the energy. It's all about energy dynamics and the energy you're embodying. So start learning to embody that abundant energy. Start learning to operate from love. Get into that natural state of being and connect to the love frequency. And you can do this just by being around people that you love, or, children, your pets, anything that puts you in that state of love. Surround yourself around that as much as you can to keep yourself in that vibration. And also practice self-love, because that puts you in the love frequency as well. And when you're operating in the love frequency, this is also when you can attract in a loving relationship that's a genuine love, where people, are actually going to treat you right, because we don't want to be attracting in toxic people either. So realize you are love. That's your natural state of being. Start tuning into the frequency and realize you are abundant. Now, if you do these 8 things, it's going to shift your energy. And when you shift your energy, the outer reality shifts, because the outer reality is simply just a mirror of the inner reality. I hope you like this video, guys. If you got some sort of value, let me know by giving me a thumbs up. And if you like this sort of content, then subscribe and hit the bell notification so you get notified whenever I drop a video. I hope you have an awesome day. Peace.